Okay. Hey guys. I just got to thinking I haven't posted a public service announcement since last year. It's funny too. The last time I posted one about trucks, big trucks on the highway, I was in Missouri. Once again, I'm in Missouri. I'm at a truck stop here next to Interstate 70. Just outside of St. Louis. Just drove through St. Louis a little while ago. Hey, sweetie. All right, let me get right to it. So, I've been a truck driver on and off 26 years. Right now I'm doing long haul. I used to be a local driver for many years. And now I'm back to long haul for the past 5 years. So, this is kind of second nature to me. I've been doing it so long. Oh, that's cute. One moment. Cute little dog. All right. Let's get back to the point. So, here's what I learned. Here's what I've learned over the years. These big trucks are not always maintained properly. Especially in recent decades, we've seen a massive change in the trucking industry where there were a lot more kind of small-time owner-operators, which are individuals, truck drivers who own their own trucks. And a lot of these owner-operators, they're starting out, so they'll buy up a really old truck. Like, for example, this Freightliner right here, this green one that's pulling in with the cattle trailer. That's a pretty old, did I say Freightliner? Peterbilt. That's a pretty old Peterbilt. Probably like early 2000s. But yeah, so that guy looks like he knows what he's doing. I mean, he takes really good care of his rig. But you'll see some of these Freightliners, for example. A lot of the Freightliners that are older, they're usually white. And if you look at them going on the highway, you'll notice the paint's peeling. It's the older models. They're, a few years older. Those are really inexpensive to buy and start your own trucking business and kind of do small time like that. And then a lot of times those guys will buy inexpensive trailers that are much older. As long as they can get an inspection tag on their vehicles, they're good to go. But then they won't necessarily... what do I want to say? They won't necessarily keep up on them the best. Like, I'll see a lot of times when I'm out here on the road at rest areas or truck stops, I'll look over, I'll be getting fuel, for example. I'll look over the person next to me and I'll notice they'll have bad tires on their truck. So, you can get away with that. You have to get an inspection tag once every year on your truck and your trailer. But over the course of that year, if components on your truck or trailer start to degrade, you can kind of put off those repairs for a period of time. What does that mean? That means you got a lot of trucks out here on the road that are very old, a lot of trailers that are very old, and the metal just degrades over time. So if I can quit beleaguering this point, what I'm trying to say to you is these pieces of equipment, they start falling apart. And you'll notice when you're driving along the highway, you'll see pieces of metal on the side of the highway, pieces of tire on the side of the highway. As a matter of fact, I think there's a tire right over there. Hang on. That looks like a tire that ripped apart and came off someone's rig, and it's just on the side here. What does that mean to the motoring public? People out here on the highways, state routes, rural roads, county roads. If you're driving along in your RV, your motorhome, your camper minivan or SUV or your car, whatever it is you like to travel in, you're gonna come around these big rigs, and like I'm saying, some of them are not maintained very well, and they fall apart. Things break off and come flying through the air. So these tires, like for example, look at this guy coming by right now in this little box truck. You see how big these tires are? They're really big. When they come apart, they go flying through the air, and that's a lot of heavy rubber. And if that hits your vehicle, it will put a massive dent. If you imagine, like, if you've ever hit a deer or had a deer jump on your vehicle, a deer can totally wreck your front end, totally wreck your entire vehicle. Imagine a giant piece of rubber, flying through the air at 65 miles per hour. It can go right through your windshield, your side window, hit the front of your vehicle, cause you to veer off into the ditch. So the reason why I'm mentioning all these things is not to be fear-mongering at all. I'm just trying to say it's really important to be aware when you're out here traveling on the roads. Stay away from this big equipment. It's very heavy, and there's lots of pieces of metal and components that can come off. So what I like to recommend to people is stay away from them. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're traveling down the road and one of these trucks pulls up next to you and they just hang out, get away from them. If that means you have to slow down 5 miles an hour to let them pass, do it. If that means you want to, speed up and get away from them because maybe you notice you're not doing the speed limit, do that. Don't drive next to one of these big trucks as if you don't have to, right? Do everything you can to not be next to them. You don't want to be right next to one of these vehicles when they blow a tire or something goes wrong, or maybe the driver of the truck is maybe not the safest driver. You don't want to be next to them. What if they change lanes and they don't see you? These things happen. I see wrecks every day on my travels. I usually run between 400 and 600 miles a day. I come across wrecks all day long. And you don't want to tangle with these big equipment. Another thing that I like to let people know is if you're driving along the highway or along a road and a big truck comes up behind you and they're just riding your bump, riding the back of your vehicle, they're very close. That's not safe either. What I do in a situation like that is I'll just get off the road. I'll find the next place where I can turn off and get rid of that driver. That is not a safe driver if they're right on the back of your bumper. That's not safe. If something goes wrong, you have to brake quickly. They're not going to be able to stop. They're going to ram right in the back of you. So if somebody's on top of you like that, right behind you, and they're too close, and you decide, well, I see there's a road up ahead, or maybe there's a convenience store, whatever, I'm going to turn off up ahead. Well, it's only going to take like a minute out of your day, maybe 2 minutes. You pull off, they drive by, you're rid of that unsafe driver. They're going to go on down the road. You can sit there for a couple minutes, maybe rearrange something in your vehicle or whatever you wanted to do. Get right back on the road. It only costs you a couple minutes, and it's safe. And if you have to do that a couple times each day, it's worth it. All right. The third thing I like to talk about is never, ever, under any circumstances, tailgate one of these big rigs. Do not tailgate them. Because if you look over here at these guys getting fuel, you see the back, and I talked about this last year in my video. So you see that bar that's hanging down with the reflectors across it? That's called an ICC bar. Several decades ago, the Department of Transportation mandated that all trailers have that bar on the back. That bar is there so that if a car runs into the back of that guy's trailer, the car won't go underneath. If you run up underneath the back of a trailer, you can become decapitated very quickly, very easily. Again, I'm not trying to fearmonger. That happens. I've seen it. I've seen the aftermath of people going underneath. Or like sometimes a car will, like this trailer over here that says America's Service Line. The whole side of that vehicle between the rear axle and the drive axle, a car can swerve and go underneath there. That will take the whole top of your vehicle off. Because these trailers are built with really strong cross members, and your car is no match for that. It's going to go right under there and rip the whole top of the vehicle off. You might remember seeing that in Smokey and the Bandit when the state trooper went underneath the truck and it ripped the whole top off. Well, in the movie, nothing happened to the guy, but in real life, that's going to rip the whole top of the vehicle off and can decapitate. I think I need to move. I think I'm not in a great spot here right now. But anyway, like I said, I'm just trying to give you guys these tips. Another thing about those ICC bars on the back, like right here, they get old and rusty and they break off. So if a person is following a truck too closely and the truck has to hit the brakes and you hit the back of that truck and that bar is rusty and it snaps off, you're gonna go right under there. Hold on a second. Let me turn this music off. Yeah, so rule of thumb, stay away from these big trucks. Don't travel next to one for any period of time. Get away from them. Don't tailgate them. Doesn't matter if you're doing 35 miles an hour or 65 miles an hour. Do not tailgate. And if one is up on top of you, on the top of your bumper or too close, get away from them. Get away from them. And you don't have to be agitated and flip them off and get angry. I get this sometimes. People will get mad because I'm in the left lane because I'm getting ready to take a left exit. And they'll drive by on the right side and flip me off. And I'm like, well, you know, I need to be in this lane. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, just be safe. Keep your distance. And remember, if you need to get off the road for a couple of minutes to get away from an unsafe truck driver, it's worth it. It's 2 minutes worth avoiding a horrible accident where you get hurt, your vehicle gets wrecked. It's not worth it. All right, that's all I got, guys. Safe travels out there. Good luck to all, and be safe out there in this hot weather. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.